Hello, it's Tamara Hunter, and today is day number 108 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. And I have our service hero today with me, Kim O'Neill. Let me tell you about Kim. I met Kim in San Diego a while. It's been almost a year. I can't believe it. It will be a year here soon. And she was giving service. We were just talking about it. And it's so funny that we're both in jean shirts. What would have been the odds of that? But we were both volunteers at the GIS Summit. That's the Global Influencers Summit, right?
Is Global Influence Summit.
There you go. Global Influence Summit. I was asked to be there by my senior advisor, Sherry Watson. She didn't even tell me what I was coming to. She just said, meet me in San Diego. So I met her in San Diego, and then they were like asking for volunteers. I'm like, absolutely, I'm here. What do you need? and I had an opportunity to bond with Kim, and we had so much fun. So ever since I started the Service Hero program, you have been on my target, and I am so thrilled that you're here with me today. Thank you, Kim.
Oh, thank you, Tamara. Tamara, you are amazing. And I just remember that was just so clear when we met, and I loved hearing your story. So I'm happy to do this with you. And yeah, thank you for what you're doing, all that you've been doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about what you are and what you're doing. And because you impress me. I mean, you were there and we had some things in common because of our backgrounds, our professional backgrounds. And you have a show that you're doing. And I was fascinated by it. It's the Every Day is a New Day show. Yes. I love that title. Every day is a new day. Isn't that the truth? And then you have so much more going on. But, and I pulled some fun pictures because, you are just fun. I mean, look at that smile, guys. The energy that this woman has is just amazing. And we've got Raquel Sharper in the house. Do you know Raquel?
I don't, but hello.
Yeah, you got to. It's amazing. The service heroes are all getting to know each other. You're going to know her here soon. And she's just, she's out of Vegas. You're going to love her. So hello, Raquel. So great to see you. Okay, so let's talk. You are a coach.
Uh-huh.
You have a really interesting professional background. And you also, I still don't quite get everything that you do because it's just absolutely incredible. So I'm going to let you kind of explain it in layman's terms, if you will, because I know that you're one of those brainiac kind of people, but you put it in such a simple way. Well, that's the way I see you. And you put it in such a simple way to be able to let people like myself digest it. And so I would rather you share what it is that you do for your day job, for your podcast, and for your coaching.
Well, I really appreciate how you just described all of that, because sometimes I have to take some time to wrap my head around my background and journey and where things have led me to so far. And I'm grateful for all of it. But yes, so I have a very vast professional background in a bunch of different industries that most recently, meaning a year ago, had led me to being a crime analyst at a police department. And that was probably the most interesting job. When I tell other people, jobs that I've had, that's probably the one that stands out most to people. They're like, what? And now she's coaching and she does energy healing work.
Yeah. And to look at you, you're I lately, because I've been Netflixing Netflix lately because I've been trying to burn the midnight oil and everything, and it keeps me company at night. And I actually stumbled upon a show that has crime. They go in there and they're assessing the crimes and they're trying to figure out all these people. And you can get those people. I'm sure they're actors, but you kind of get, okay, yeah, I get it. No. I mean, you're the last person that I would have ever thought, because you just have such that friendly, bubbly personality, and yet you are just incredible. Okay, so talk about how you got to that spot.
Oh, goodness. How did I get to that spot? Well,
yeah, it was an interesting path, I remember. Yeah.
You know, there's so many versions of how you could explain this story. How I got to that spot, I really believe that I manifested it. But one thing always leads to another as well. So I've had a lot of administrative, support type professions. I used to be a dental assistant a long time ago. I used to do voiceover work. So I've had this whole variety, and eventually found my way, into the local police department in an administrative role. And over the years, there were some different promotions. And eventually I was getting to the space of, okay, what I really want to do is the coaching work, is being able to work with other people one-on-one, help them build their confidence, help them to heal from their past, help them to know how amazing they already are. That's what I'm passionate about. And I was learning how to manifest and work with my own energy and, heal myself and all that kind of stuff. And as I was in that space of learning how to work with my own energy, I also said, you know what, I'm not ready to leave my day job just yet. I want to manifest something even more interesting than what I'm doing right now. And that's how, that was the evolution of moving from an administrative type profession into crime analysis. And, that's the way I see it. Of course, there's all these other details and rationalizations we could put to it, but in many ways, it doesn't seem to make sense, right? And yet it does. It makes total sense how it came together. So I did that for a few years. What was that?
I said, absolutely, it makes total sense. I mean, in a very nonsensical way, in some ways. I mean, again, this is where the recruiter in me thinks, and we talked about this when we first met. I was like, you fascinate me, because it was like, okay, this is just absolutely, I would never have pegged that one. So, okay, keep going. So you manifest it. And I love the way you share this, because it was like a test for yourself.
Yes,
right?
That's exactly it. Yes. Yeah. So, and certainly there was like a whole testing process and all of that, of course, too, So I was looking for a way to move into a role that allowed me to use more of my analytical brain and allowed me to do something that was more fun and interesting and do research. A lot of people do think, when I say crime analyst, a lot of people do think that I'm talking about, what is often shown on TV shows, going out to the crime scene and doing that kind of work. That's not quite it. That would be more of a crime scene investigator, getting all into the blood and the bones or that kind of stuff. Mine was more in the office, reading crime reports, doing lots of research, pulling all the pieces together to try and, either help solve a crime or prevent future crimes, and working with, all the different people, other analysts, the patrol officers, the detectives, that kind of thing. So it was really fun and interesting for that part of it. But again, I was in the space of, after being there for a while, just being further pulled and wanting to do more coaching. And so about a year ago, I made that transition, and that's what I do today. I've got some side jobs, but yeah.
That's where we met. It was, I think you were either just leaving or you had just left that was that process of change.
Yeah,
was taking place.
Still new.
It was still new. Yeah. And I was thinking, this is so cool. And then shortly thereafter, I see you with this radio show, and I'm thinking, and you may have already started the radio show, but I didn't have the connection really at the time. But I'm going to put this up. I love your art. Because you always have that, it's like you're skipping through the day. Every day is a new day. Come join me and skip through it with me together. We'll make it awesome, a moment in time, come join me and have some fun.
Thank you, Tamara. I really appreciate that. And you are right. Yes, I have been doing this for a few years now, and it's evolved over time. So it's currently, it's called Every Day is a New Day show. It's where I have inspiring conversations about moving forward and choosing to embrace a positive outlook. And I really think the key word in there is choosing, because, I know there are some people who look at me, or, they might just look at this artwork and think, oh, well, she's never had to deal with anything heavy or, heartbreaking. And it's like, no, it's a choice. It's a choice to say, yeah, that sucked. And I'm going to work through it and I'm going to heal because I know there's more and better on the other side of this challenging time that I've had in life. And so that's what I hope my show, provide support and inspiration and hope for people who are, maybe going through something right now and they're trying to find, that light at the end of the tunnel or some sort of bright light that they can start to move towards because it's there. And I know how hard it can be to see it. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. And I love that explanation. And now I'm remembering, yeah, you had the radio show and then a podcast, right? It's the podcast.
So right now I'm mostly doing it as a live video show on Facebook Live. And then I do add it to bingenetworks.tv. So if anyone's got a smart TV and they want to, if they've got Binge on there, they can just search for Every Day is a New Day and watch it on TV. I love that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Oh, we'll have to include that. We'll have to include that and put that in the comments and so that they can find you on Binge. It's
bingenetworks.tv.
bingenetwork.tv. Love it. Okay, so note to self. All right, now I found this. I'm going to take the other one down and this actually thrilled my heart. This is you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so tell me, were you always the because you got that bubbly side to you, and that's the thing that just attracted me from the very get-go. It was like, I love the energy. I love this person. I love the smile, just everything about you. And then I see this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. She's been this way. She came this way. This is the way she was built when she.
Camera, I so love you. So so this is a picture of me when I was younger. I was the kid at the family gatherings who was breakdancing on the coffee table. That's how I remember it.
Aunt Sally that had the too many cocktails. It was Kim with the cowboy hat.
It was a little like 6-year-old or 7-year-old, dancing on the coffee table. But it's interesting because when I even look back, sometimes I say, there have been moments where I say, what happened to that kid? Where'd she go? And, I realize you're saying right now in this moment, like you make that connection, but there have been times in my life where I've had to say, wait a second, what happened? Where did that go? And this is a really pivotal time that you and I are doing this today, for me anyway, because I turned 40 in 3 days. And I'm honestly really excited for what 40 is bringing to me. And it's not, I phrase it that way because it's simple to say it that way, but it's not just what 40 is bringing to me. It's about where, my journey has brought me and the, choosing to continue to move forward, that I'm just really, really grateful for. I'm grateful for the journey. It's so hard to say when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the middle of it, but I'm so grateful. And I honestly, just the other day was saying, I finally feel like I have me back. And that feels so good. And that's what keep going, what moving forward can bring you, is to feel that sense of you, that maybe you once experienced when you were a kid, and then you don't know what happened as you became an adult and life happened, right?
Right. Life happened. And I have been following your posts. The thing I love about you, Kim, is that you write beautifully and you express yourself through words in such a way, and you've been so raw. You've been so open to your discovery of this last year. And so I feel as though not only myself, but, I see, because the GIS group, they are such a supportive, wonderful group of individuals, and I see the love that is shared, and so it's encouraged. It's encouraged to self-discover. It's encouraged to, because that's the whole idea of the global influencers and those people at, if you will, like at the top, just love them, and that they have such an amazing gift that is so, I know that the numbers are huge, but I still believe it's so undiscovered, because I've been really lucky to be invited into all these different little, I just show up. Yeah, I'm the show up girl, right? They say show up, And I'm like, okay, where? What time? And, I try to get there on time. But sometimes I get a last minute invite because it might be someone else that's not going to show up. And so they know Tamara will. So,
you know what? That is so important what you said. And I don't know if you're hearing it, but I am hearing like an echo. Do you hear it, Tamara?
I am not hearing it.
No, you're not hearing it. Okay. Just making sure. I don't know if anyone else is hearing it. So saying yes, showing up, just saying yes. I mean, that's a huge part of it. There was, one of the things that I talk about is how to move forward when you don't know how. How do you move forward when you don't know how? When you're feeling stuck, you're feeling, in the middle of something that's just, maybe you feel like you're living Groundhog Day or something like that. One easy way, just start to say yes to the things that come your way.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I had this discussion with my last person that I talked to today, and it's interesting. I actually read your post from today.
Okay.
And I thought it was actually the last couple of them. And I'm looking over at my notes here. We are dreams that come true. That's something your father said, right?
It was a dream that I had. And in the dream, he wrote that. And I just, as I was waking up, I was like, I have to remember that. It felt very much like a message from him, but it was in the dream that I received it.
And tell us about your dad. You had such loving words in that post. Tell us about it.
So what makes this so just special and meaningful for me is that he in many ways, there's a positive end to this, is that in many ways he was an absent father. Mm-hmm. And I have what I consider to be a very, a handful of really awesome moments spending time with him. And then many, many, many years of him not being around. And I literally can recall times when I actually forgot that I had a dad because he just was so not there in my life, which made the fact that we had such awesome times together. And I know that we had a bond just that much more painful to know that you have something so amazing and don't get to spend time with that person. And so there was a lot of anger, a lot of frustration that happened over the years. And in my early 20s, I got married young, I got divorced young. And as I was healing from my divorce, it was also time to heal the relationship with my father. And so we started to reconnect, and that's a whole story in itself as well. We started to reconnect, and within a period of 2 weeks, he died. So we had so we had like two good weeks, and then he died out of the blue. And I was furious. I was like, are you kidding me? We're just starting to make progress. We're just starting to get good and like actually communicate and make sense. And so, but the gift in that, and that's not where it ends, but the gift in that is that literally one of the last words that he said to me was, I'm sorry. So I saw him. I was the last person to see him alive. He actually took me out grocery shopping the day before. He was trying to help me out. And so we went grocery shopping, and he came back to my home, and I could just tell something was off with him, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. And he was like trying to say things like, oh, I need to get back to the gym. He was trying to be strong. I need to get back to the gym. And, and I said, Dad, no, you need to take care of yourself first. You need to take care of you. And I don't know if that really sunk in, but we ended up hugging, and he said, I'm sorry. And he didn't say anything more than that. And he didn't need to, because at that point, I never thought I was actually ever going to hear those words from him. That was the one thing I wanted to hear from him for years. And he said, I'm sorry. Oh, I know, Tamara. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I finally got those words. The next morning, I woke up at like 5 a.m., phone ringing, and my aunt said, he died. And it was so anyway, so that was the next journey of all this anger that started rising to the surface, even bigger than it had before. And I knew that I was going to implode if I didn't do something with that. To me, I said, okay, well, I'm still going through my divorce and trying to heal from that. And, thought we were doing good, me and my dad, and now he dies. And
what am I supposed to do with this?
Exactly. And I seriously, I knew like I was going to implode if I don't shift my mindset around this. Like I just had to make something, I had to change something. And so I said, that's when I started talking to him. I said, okay, fine, you're dead, but I know you're still there in some form. You can hear me. I said, we are going to still work on this. We're going to fix this. And I just continued to allow myself to, share with him, those moments when the anger started to bubble up again. I'm just going to share it and I express it, and the moments when I'm feeling, maybe the sadness, I shared that. And the moments when I'm feeling the love, and I'm grateful that he's still there, because I started getting pennies everywhere I would go. I would see pennies on the ground, and that was my sign. I knew that like, that's a little hello from my dad. So yeah. Anyway, over time, it got better and better. And my relationship with my dad healed, and he's, we still have communication, like through the dream. And is it okay if I share something that I wrote? About
absolutely.
Okay. So last year, first time becoming a published author, I don't know if people can see this. I wrote basically more about the story in a chapter in this book. It's called, sorry, I just heard the echo again. So Positive-Minded People, Inspiring Stories of Overcoming Adversity for Living a More Positive Life. And it's an anthology book of, 9 authors sharing their stories of overcoming adversity. And in here, I share that story about my dad and I. So if anybody wants to read more, they can get that.
Oh, wow. Raquel, it doesn't surprise me that, pennies from heaven. It's so true. So true. And, I'm going to take a moment to regroup here myself. Raquel has been sharing. It was an echo, but not now. She's all good. Okay, great. Okay. For some reason, I'm not hearing it. But Raquel, if you start hearing it again, if you could just let us know, that would be great. I appreciate it. Love you. Okay. Then let me. Okay. How many siblings do you have? Because I was looking at pictures and I was trying to figure out who were family and who were.
You are so amazing, Tamara. The research you do when you do this show every day, I am so impressed. I have 3. I have 3. I'm the oldest of 4. My dad got remarried a few times though, so I'm a combination oldest. I'm a combination oldest only. I have a sister over on the East Coast. You're so funny. Picture? It is a family picture, but those are cousins of mine.
Okay, these are cousins. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, maybe this one?
Yeah. Okay, so let me rephrase that. I have 4. So in this picture that you're seeing, you see my sister Jean and then my brother Patrick. They're on the right side of the picture. And then on the left side is Albert, and he is so he's the bonus. He's a step sibling, but he's very much my brother too.
Oh yeah, I have some of those, and they don't require that word.
Exactly.
They're siblings.
Yes. Yeah, and then I have another sister. She's over on the East Coast. Her name is Brandy, and so we're all a little spread out. But it's interesting. I love that you actually even brought this up, because one of the most beautiful gifts that my dad gave me. I'm trying not to cry. I just put makeup on, Tamara.
It's okay. Because we laugh, we cry, we laugh, we cry. We have a little bit of a roller coaster ride on this show, but that's what makes it. I don't want to call it Disneyland, but I do live in Southern California.
I love that you brought this up, Tamara, because and I even said this at my dad's funeral. One of the best gifts my dad gave me were my siblings and the connection, to all of them. It's such a beautiful gift. When I was a little kid, I remember literally actually putting the dream out there, literally wishing for Christmas, I would love to have a brother or sister. And then, hey, you have a sister being born, and then you have another sister, and then a brother. It is a blessing. And so even though life takes us in different directions at times, so grateful for them.
And I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you shared that story, and we'll come back to the cousins in a minute. But the story, because I feel the same way as you do, because I have like a wealth of family from different combos of different combos, right? And some have been closer than others. but at different times there's been like seasons where they've come in and out of my life, and I just know that that's a journey, and they still continue to do that, ebb and flow, because that's what life is. And the fact that you're so grateful, and I really, this is what I want to highlight, the fact that you're so grateful that it was, you know, that it wasn't a traditional family situation, that these wonderful siblings came from, and you know, of all different types of siblings, and but they came into your life, and you wished for them, you put it out there, and so many people, and this is where I love the service heroes and the whole concept of looking at the good, because there's so much good, there's so much positive, there's so many people doing amazing, wonderful things, and having an extended family and extended siblings, that is service, that is a gift. Those are opportunities for us to have abundant love, and not everybody always sees it that way, because sometimes we wish something into our existence that for some reason is just not going to happen, and that then there's that negative energy that starts happening, like, woe is me, my parents broke up, now I've got these other, and they're taking my place, and on and on and on. And you are showing that, oh, no, open yourself up to the love. You actually wanted these individuals in your life. You're grateful for them, and you're grateful for your father that was sometimes absent, probably because of this. You're not holding that against them. You are sharing abundant love with them.
Gosh, Tamara, you're so good.
I'm recapping your story. You know, we're having a great. It's the jean shirts. You know, what are the odds? I don't wear jeans.
It's the jean shirts. It's, you know, so me and my siblings, we're all, and I think this is for everyone and their siblings. You know, we go through different life stages at different, you know, at different stages at the same time. So you know, something I've learned is like, okay, that's where we might start to clash, but there is still always the love. That is how I see it. And I believe that everybody, I mean, everybody, and including your siblings, we're in each other's lives for different reasons. So, and the other thing I want to add to that, I feel like I'm touching on a few different random points that you just made, but the other thing I want to say is that, you know, we go through tough times, and choosing to look at the positive, and I know you know this, but for anyone else who's thinking that we're glossing over, you know, the hard times, there's no glossing. There's no glossing. We all know what the muck feels like. We know that. And where it shifts and transitions, where you get to that space of looking at the positive, is knowing that every situation, there's something to learn from it. There is a gift from it. And I think part of it is shifting the expectations that we once had, because the expectations can keep us locked into believing that it was ever supposed to be something different in the first place. And
exactly.
Yes.
You know, ding, ding, you know, I love that, because that is where we set ourselves up for disaster. Yeah. Is when we believe these, and trust me, I am the biggest fairy tale story girl that there is. And you know, and I'm darn proud of it, because, you know, I would much rather have them believe that there is a new day, like your show, that there's a new day tomorrow. And, you know, and yes, you can tell over the decades how different stories have evolved, but these are many stories that have been, you know, reworked from the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. This is not new stuff, guys. This is just, you know, modern day versions of older stories. And if you go back to the old stuff, that can be really scary at times. You know, the original stuff. They've lightened some of the stories up, and then they've given these stronger characters and such. But my philosophy in it was that life, you can choose. It's that choice. Yeah. You can choose to look at the dark and dwell in it, or you can choose to see the dark and acknowledge that there has been that muck and mire, but not to dwell in it and then to move beyond it.
Yeah.
And then to appreciate the light because you've been through both, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, when you're in that space, you can be in that space of the dark and feeling the heaviness and know that, of course, there's going to be another time, and also know that it's important to feel what you're in. Something that I didn't realize until way later in the game is that you've got to feel it. You got to feel it to release it. And I think a lot of times we stop ourselves from feeling something because it feels so painful and we don't know what it's going to do to us if we feel more of it. And I'm not saying to anybody to not do that either, because do what you got to do to protect yourself. But just be mindful that there's going to come a time where it's going to be safe to allow yourself to feel it. And it's actually going to be healthy to feel it so that you can release it. Because the longer we hang on to those things that were awful, the more damage it does to us and to our relationships and to future experiences that won't ever quite reach us because we've got all this stuff that we just...
Right. We're not allowing it to. We're not opening ourselves up, right?
Yes, exactly. So,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Regards to all of this, because it's I'm sure a lot of people are sitting and they will, because I know that there's going to be quite a few people that are going to be like on their seats like, okay, I want to know more. Your experience in the police and the crime, reading all these crime, I don't want to say stories, but I've been watching Netflix, so of course I'm going there right now.
It's stories too.
Yeah, and you checking into all of this, did that help you? Does that help you to then be able to see that the people that didn't let go of their blocks, the people that didn't let go of the elements that they continued in maybe a cycle going down one particular path that then takes them into a darker and darker path into crime, where did you ever see when you were reading those histories that there was a pivotal moment, if they would have possibly shifted, that they could have possibly avoided that? And then do you use that in your coaching?
So you're incredibly insightful. I'm hearing the echo again. I think it might be Facebook. Do you happen to have Facebook open? It might is.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, let me close that down and see if that helps. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, I want to make sure. Yes. I was running a mile a minute or a mile in 0.10 seconds.
Oh, I totally get it. I totally get it, Cameron. I'm so impressed with how much you accomplish every day. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's go back to the answering the.
So, okay, I'm still hearing it. That's okay. I'm just going to go like this because it helps me a little bit to hear myself. So I first have to say, I can never say I know what was going on in anybody else's life, right? I'm getting a snapshot of what happened that day in their life. So I can never claim to know exactly what's fully going on with them or in their vibration. That's, part of the work I do too. I am a certified law of attraction coach and also certified Reiki master practitioner. So that's been part of my journey. But
right. All this neat, cool stuff.
Thank you. I think it's neat and cool too. But certainly, yes, while I was, while I was a crime analyst reading the stories, there were times when I could read an incident and you can start to get a bigger picture of, what led up to that, what possibly led up to that situation in their life. And what was really interesting, so there was another Facebook post I did the other night. I don't know if you saw it, but there was one particular incident where I remember there's this guy who kept attacking women and the behavior was escalating. And so there were, multiple incident reports where the same guy kept popping up. And it I think it started with something simple as, like stalkerish behavior following a woman home from work. And then, it went a step further, and now he's like outside her home, and I forget what the other details were for that one. And then next thing you know, he's now actually approaching women on the sidewalk and actually attacking them and going further. And what was, I was gonna say fascinating, but what, to me, where this was connecting to the life coaching and that kind of thing that I do, I was like, okay, wait a second. This did not just start with, oh, let me, stalk this woman. And so as I was doing my research, trying to learn more about this suspect and how can we stop him and catch him and that kind of thing, I found, there were also reports from when he was, I think, 9 years old and 10 years old and 11 years old, where he was the victim of, he was the victim of other incidents that were, of a sexual predator and things of that nature, and heartbreaking to see that connection. Now, of course, it does not excuse his behavior in the present day and what he's doing. Absolutely not. But when you see that link and how things evolve over time, when they're not dealt with, when they're not handled, when we try to gloss over, when we try to ignore, we try to say, oh, no, it'll get better. Or, well, he's just going through a phase. Or, I don't know what to do about that, so we're just going to let it be and hope it gets better. It's okay to get help. And it's okay to say, I don't know what to do. Let me try to find something to, help my kid or to help whatever, So thank you for sharing that story, because it's so important. And that's what I like to also highlight when we're talking in this format, is that, there's every day is a new day, and we can choose to do something for ourselves or for others. We can serve ourselves in taking care of and owning the fact that, okay, I've got an issue here, don't understand it, maybe don't even remember exactly anything yet, because a lot of times that happens, but there's a disconnect, and I am going to serve myself, thus serving those I care about and serving others by finding out what's going on. And if that leads to a coach, a therapist, a mentor, a trusted advisor, a pastor, a priest, a rabbi, whoever, a shaman, or whatever it may be, but to go to someone else and just that you feel safe going to, then saying, I'm just not feeling right about something. And so, I want to just put it out there right now. If anybody out there is feeling this and this is resonating with you, pick up the phone, text someone, and someone that you trust, and just say, hey, you know what? Can you watch this and can we talk? And then start asking, I'm sure if they get a hold of you and they just say, hey, where should I go? What can I do about this? Because, there's, in truth, we know when there's a disconnect inside of us, but a lot of times we throw it under that carpet because we buy into what society tells us to do. And that's buck it up, get out there, get back to work, take care of business, and deal with it another day when you've got some time. And there never seems to be another day. And if you don't get these cancerous things out of you, it just doesn't work. It'll catch up with us.
Yes. We've got someone that, I'm just going to bring this up because we've got someone that's saying that let's see, my friend is alive and she is a very connected me. Okay, so yeah, there's different there's, is this someone
No. So hello.
Okay. Yeah, hello. Yes, thank you for commenting. I hope I say it right. Adele. That there's all, whatever is going to work for you, because that's the thing. Like, even with my nonprofit, I will tell people, my nonprofit's name is Chemo Buddies for Life. However, with that said, I met my buddy in a chemotherapy room. I am not announcing that I am a pro or con in regards to chemotherapy, adjunctive therapy, alternative therapies. I am saying don't do it alone, right? And so in this, if you're feeling that there's a disconnect, whatever would work for your religious beliefs, your cultural beliefs, your societal beliefs, or any of those, just act on it, because you don't want it to pop its ugly head up at some point in time and then have other things happen. Okay, enough of that. Let's get off of that.
Can I say one more thing? Okay, maybe
one more thing.
I was just going to say, okay, I'm just going to say, yes, because if you don't do something about it, it can make you go crazy, and you don't deserve that. You deserve to be healthy and happy. So
love it. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Tell me about this. Is that like bubbles?
So this was at an MDA summer camp. The girl that's in the wheelchair right in front of me, her name is Maya. Tamara, you are just so amazing. I love you. So for a time, I was a behavior intervention therapist, and I was so blessed to be paired up with Maya. She and I worked together on a daily basis, and we had a fantastic relationship and bond. And so her parents asked if I would accommodate her to MDA summer camp. So we did that for a few years in a row. And this was a magician that was doing different things for all the kids at the camp. That's what that is. Both of those pictures are from that.
That is just too much fun. Okay, and then I have to ask this one because it screams out ask. Were you in choir?
I was in show choir. This was show choir over in Oklahoma. And I'm from Southern California, but for a few years lived and grew up in Oklahoma, and that's where I got to do more of the performance work that I love to do. And these were great happy times in here. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So, I'm going to ask about this one, because this looks like a trusted, loving companion. Is this a current dog, or what's the story?
This is actually my sister's father-in-law's dog, and just super sweet. Her name is Honey. Oh. And it's just super sweet.
I fell in love with Honey. That's why I had to find out what Honey's story was.
Yeah. She's super sweet. That's bottom line. She's just lovable, and I was a photo moment.
And dogs, animals, they're so therapeutic, aren't they? And oh, yeah. I know that my daughter, when she was diagnosed long ago, and we went through a special program, they actually asked us to get a pet for her, and so because it was therapeutic exercises that were done. Do you ever, as a coach, ever suggest that?
I haven't suggested that, but I can completely understand why someone would, because when we start to get clear on how much our energy is impacting us, the way that we're feeling internally, then it makes sense to go, oh, now I get why dogs are so awesome, because dogs are constantly happy. They make it easy for a person to maintain a higher vibration, or say just a joyful state, right? That it makes sense. That's why they're man's best friend.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we sum up, which of course I don't want to do because you're just too much fun to hang out with, but I know we've got to let you go. But I do want to say that you go out there, you speak, you have your radio show, you've written, you're an author, you're a coach. I mean, you're out there really helping make a difference. And then a Reiki coach or person and you even understand the stars, don't you? And when the moon and the stars and all of that and the energy flow and all of that.
It's not my forte, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
But I remember there was a time where my computer was going crazy, and then you verified, you did something. You're like, okay, if you're having problems with your computer, don't think you're going crazy because it's some kind of something. And I was like, okay, Kim just made me feel a lot better.
Good. Mercury retrograde. That's what it is.
What now?
Mercury retrograde. It tends to impact electronics.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so as we start to get ready to wrap up, Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. Oh, I love that song. Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, it was on the oldies station out here, Tamara. That's why I posted that. It's hilarious. Yeah, it was on the oldies station. It was like, are you kidding me? Guns N' Roses on the oldies station.
You know what? I'm timeless. I just figure I had this conversation a couple times today, actually, already, and it's like I don't even know what age I am because I just I am whatever it is that my birth certificate says, but I don't look at it,
Good for you. I love that you said untidy. That's awesome.
There you go. Okay, so Wednesdays, if they wanted to catch your show, what time is your show on? Is it like a set time, or how does that work?
Yes, so Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook at Kim O'Neill Coaching. They can find Every Day is a New Day show. I interview just really awesome people like you. So Tamara, I would love to have you on my show as well. I know we have
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, let's make it happen. We'll continue this conversation. That makes me feel better.
Yes. Well, and I was going to ask you, I was going to say, okay, hello, when is Tamara's service day? Because Tamara is huge on the service that you are giving. So I hope that you are like, if you haven't already done yours, then you better at least be like day 365 or something. Somewhere in there.
I got one of my co-pilot, and that goes places with me a lot. She kind of turned that on me, and sometime we'll probably do that. I have some good stuff that's coming down the pipe for my Chemo Buddies for Life, and I figure that will be an opportunity for me to highlight the charity, or my nonprofit, not a charity, but nonprofit movement and social impact movement, if you will. And so I figure, we'll probably do a whole sparkle reel or something during that time. And because I just see what I'm doing as an extension of who I was brought up to be. So, but I thank you. The thought is definitely there. Thank you. And I appreciate it very much, more than you would know. Yeah. So thank you. So as we end, my dear friend, Kim O'Neill, that is day number 108. 108.
I love it.
365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. I want to thank you and just celebrate for you as the service hero that you are. You personify that, and I challenge people that are kind of at a point in their life where they are trying to find a real sense of what they're going through, to possibly go over to your page, because you've been so generous. Your posts really are very beautiful and insightful. And when you've had some breakthroughs, you share, and you're open about what was the snag, what was the block, what was, the issue, and then how you got through it, and then where you are now. You're going to say something.
I just wanted to say I wasn't always, and it's taken practice and work to be able to share like that and be open, because I admire other people who I see do that. And I also try to be mindful. I don't want to always share like dark and gloomy things, but I understand the value in sharing. And I think we all impact each other. We all have a ripple effect. And I think this sounds just very cliche, but I think the best gift we can be to the world is be more of ourselves. And so that has been part of my journey is, okay, let's get back to that. And what was that like? And what does that mean? And who is that? And really going deep with that and doing my best to just be that and understand the value in that. And that's what you're doing. And I think everybody deserves to be able to get to that space and be in that space, because it's okay if we enjoy our lives. And so it may take some healing work, but we'll get there.
Well said. Well said. And I'm glad you did say that, because if you're feeling a block there too, it's okay. Because we've all had, life happens, right? Life happens, and nothing is ever going to be perfect. But if we all are there for each other, and we serve one another, and we're unconditionally caring and loving with each other, we will set a precedence in our day and age to say, no more of the bad news. Don't believe it. Don't go there. That yes, life happens, and you've witnessed that. However, you've come out of it to say, the good is happening, and you can find that good, and you can grow through those blocks, and you can feel good about it, and then you can serve and help others, and that's what you are doing. And I'm so very, very proud to call you a service hero, call you my friend, and and then highlight what you're doing, and we'll put, you know, in the comments, we'll tag, and if you will even want to go in there and tag any, you know, like your website, any of those type of things, I'd love for you to do that so that people know how to get a hold of you, because I'm sure that there will be some that your message is going to be like, wow, I really do want to talk to you about this or that. And this woman's amazing. She's just fun too. All right, so I know that you need to go. You have other commitments, and so I need to be conscious. And so we're going to end our discussion for today, but we'll take it up another day.
Yes.
On every day is a new day. How's that sound?
I think it sounds amazing, and thank you so much, Tamara. I appreciate you, and I just think I'm so grateful to even be here today. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And so as we close, I'm going to say goodbye to Kim, and I'm going to say tomorrow we've got someone else in store, and it's actually someone that you introduced me to. Woo! I think you probably know who that could be. So yes, I'll announce it tomorrow. It's going to be. All right. See you guys later. Make it a service-filled day. Remember, each one of us has a service hero inside of us. Find yours, and you'll be amazed at what will happen in your life. See you later. Bye.
Bye.